Hi, my name is Dom,
And I'm Nick.
and this is our third episode of our podcast. It's currently 11:43 a.m., so we're both kind of tired.
hmm
And on our previous episode, we talked about relationships, and this week's topic is dreams.
And ever since I was a kid, I've had pretty lucid dreams. And for anyone that doesn't know, a lucid dream is like whenever you're aware that you're dreaming. So you pretty much have control over your environment, all the people there, and pretty much you can do whatever you want.
Uh-huh.
But recently, I've started getting lucid nightmares, and those are really not fun. Even though I'm aware that I'm dreaming, it's still just as scary
Yeah.
because there's nothing I can really do because I don't really have any control once they start. And basically, I've actually researched it. A lot of people get this to have lucid dreams. Is like this dark figure will appear out of nowhere in just a regular dream, and he just starts like
Causing chaos.
yeah, he starts causing chaos.
Yeah.
That's the perfect way to describe it. He knows exactly what you fear and like your worst fears because he's in your mind. So he knows exactly what you hate. And this is gonna sound kind of embarrassing, but I have a really huge fear of needles, like really bad.
Yeah.
I think I told you this. Last time I went to give blood
Yeah.
for this test, I can't remember what it was about. I fainted because of the needle. Like the nurse stuck it in my arm, and then I was like out. Like I was like I could feel the room spinning. My I was getting super lightheaded, and I just fell backwards. And they told me that my mom caught me because I saw my mom get up the instant that she saw me going out.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened after that. She came and caught me, and they actually had to have like three different nurses come and try to take my blood because none of them could do it.
Yeah.
Because they were all like new nurses. They were all like with the college and stuff through the programs.
Uh-huh.
So he uses that a lot, like my fear of needles. And also I have this weird thing with like sharp objects around my eyes.
Yeah.
So you can imagine a needle is a sharp object.
Yeah.
And I have this weird thing with sharp objects around my eyes. So this one time I was strapped down to a table and I couldn't move. It was like a doctor's office, I think, but it was like really dark and run down.
Yeah.
And he has a bunch of needles everywhere. And that's like a huge red flag for me. I'm like, hold up, time out. I can't do this anymore. So he like has a needle, I'd say like a centimeter away from my eye, and I'm freaking out. But there's nothing I can do, and I swear it was the entire dream was me just sitting at that table, and he was like bringing the needle closer and closer to my eye. I was freaking out.
How did it end? Just like,
It got like so close to my eye that it's all I could see, and then I woke up. So I was thankful that I woke up.
yeah.
But whenever he comes, I like most of the time I can just wake up whenever I want. I'm just like, okay, I'm outie. I
Yeah.
just wake up. But whenever he shows up, it's like I can't do anything. Like I don't have any control.
Uh-huh.
So he just is like, nope, you're not waking up. Like I'll try to snap myself out of it, but he just drags me back. So I pretty much just have to run out the clock until he's just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Peace. That's been happening a lot more recently, but they're not all bad. Like I've had some really good lucid dreams.
Yeah.
Like there's this one. There's Nuketown from Black Ops.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was in that location. I guess it was like Nuketown. So it was like, okay, let's just do it in Nuketown today, boys.
For sure.
So it was Nuketown, but it was like Nuketown a bunch of times. So and it was like it was a village almost of people that were super poor. And I guess the story was I'm having trouble remembering, but the Monopoly man, from the board game,
Yeah.
he had taken everybody's money. Cause
What?
like somehow through the game of Monopoly, but playing with real money, he took all their money, and I had to battle him for the money to give to the people.
Dude,
And whenever
you're such a nerd.
I know, like only I would think of that type of thing.
Yeah.
Only because I have full control over what's going on, so it's like
Sure.
I make the story
Yeah.
right as it's happening. Most of the time, sometimes it's different, but so I can pretty much do whatever I want. I can give myself superpowers in my dreams.
Yeah.
So I just like start flying around everywhere. I start flying around this Monopoly dude, and I start like going at him, and I beat him,
Yeah.
and I'm like, woohoo! Everyone in the village is safe. I know. Woohoo! Woo! Everyone in the village is super safe, and everyone's loving it. And then out of nowhere, he just somehow becomes the dark figure and rises up, and he's like, no, it's not going to be that easy.
Jeez.
And then I'm just like, oh God, why? And basically, whenever he appears, there's nothing I can do. Like, that's just how it is. He basically makes it so I don't have control over anything anymore. Like I can't control this, like any scene changes like that. I can't control what I can do. I don't have any powers anymore. I'm just regular Nick.
Yeah.
But he's like somehow he takes all my powers.
Yeah.
And he can do pretty much anything he wants. It's like he has more power than me whenever he shows up.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have anything, so he can do whatever he wants.
So you're just regular trash
I'm just
Nick.
I'm just regular trash Nick, and he's like super omega super guy.
OP Lord.
He's OP. He's OP, and it's scary because I'm always in my dreams. I'm always used to having control, and whenever someone takes that away, and then they have it,
It's weird.
and they hate me,
Yeah.
because I know that he hates me, or he wouldn't be doing all this stuff to me.
Yeah.
So whenever he gets that power and he can do whatever he wants to me, it's kind of like that's freaky.
Yeah.
And also, all my dreams, the reason I always have been able to know that I'm dreaming is all my dreams are in third person,
Yeah.
which is why I've always been able to lucid dream, because like, oh, it's in third person. I'm obviously having a dream.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes I'm not even in my dreams. I just like jump into the action in someone else, because like I can just be like, oh, I want to be them. You know, I was like, you know, I just be them.
Yeah.
And so it's weird. I go from third person to like first person in that person.
Yeah.
Then I can also, it's weird. I have like a bunch of ways I can just look at people and stuff. So, but one time I was like, I wonder if I like have an actual body. And I just
Yeah.
like, and like one time I just jumped into someone randomly and just like turned around and,
To like the spot where you were.
and I thought that it would just be like a huge face, like my face. And I would look so dumb.
Just like phased into the wall.
Yeah, it's like in the wall. It's just like, hey, what's up? It's like, how crazy would that be if it was just like a huge face?
That would be pretty crazy.
But there was nothing there.
Oh.
It was sad. So I guess I'm just
So,
like a fly on the wall.
A little
in my dreams.
anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sad because we were talking about it.
Yeah, we
and
were
I was like,
talking
now
about
I got to figure out.
Yeah.
Am I just a huge face? But no, I'm nothing apparently.
You're just that fly on the wall that can jump on people's bodies.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dope. I've never really had a lucid dream, and that I can remember. Like, I feel like I might have had a lucid dream, but not that I can remember.
Well, lucid dreams are like, they're pretty awesome.
Okay, thanks.
They're pretty
Thanks for
awesome,
that.
just so you know. But the lucid nightmares are like a bundle package, and they're not fun.
Yeah.
Like there's like sometimes the best dreams that you're having turn into like lucid nightmares out of nowhere. And there's this one reoccurring dream, and every time I have it, I'm like, okay, this time he's not gonna show up. I'm gonna get the girl, and it's gonna be awesome. And I can't remember how the quest starts. The only parts I can remember, even though I've had this dream like a billion times, it feels like the only part I can remember is I walk into this huge room,
Yeah.
and the girl, whoever she is at the time, it's always a different girl, but it's always like either a girl that I have a huge crush on, or just
A mega hottie.
Yeah, a mega hottie. You know, Thadiana, stuff like that.
Okay.
So she's sitting at the other end of the room, and she's like kind of like tied up against a chair or a pillar or something.
Yeah.
So I just like book it. I'm like, I need to save her. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
sprinting.
You know,
Yeah.
like a full sprint.
Yeah.
And every time, right as I almost get there, the guy, he just comes out of nowhere, like the dark figure
Uh-huh.
that has control, and he just like appears out of nowhere, and he's like, no, this ain't happening. Sorry. So then he takes her, and they disappear, and then all these pillars just come up out of nowhere, like out of the floor,
Yeah.
and they're like all over. Like this room is huge.
Uh-huh.
And the pillars just come out everywhere. And I'm on top of one of the pillars. And every time I'm trying to save this girl, but I'm never able to because this guy keeps on just like blue balling me, man. It's the worst. I hate it.
Sucks, man.
I hate
Oh my
him.
gosh.
He's the worst. He's such a jerk.
He's a cock block.
Dude, he is. He totally is. At the worst times, too. At the worst times. It's so bad.
So you don't end up getting the girl.
I never get the girl, at least not in that scenario.
And so this is like a reoccurring dream.
Yeah, I have that dream all the time. It's all the time.
Dude, that
Every
must
time.
suck.
Dude, it really sucks because every time I'm like, okay, this time he's not going to show up. I know it. This is going to be the day. And the day is never going to come. It's never going to happen.
Okay, but what would happen if, like, you know, you save this girl and then...
You're like, thanks, but I got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Just I would...
Or, like, she makes you kiss her on the cheek or something like that.
Like, not even that. Like, I get, like, a kiss on, like, the hand or
the
something.
hand.
Oh, thanks. I would... Dude, if that happened, I bet like he would do that to me just to
Just deck the girl in the face.
I would be so mad because I've tried this dream
Yeah.
like about 100 times.
It's a quest.
It's an obsession at this point to beat. It's like this is my one chance to maybe beat him somehow. Because
Yeah.
I know that if I can get there fast enough, I can do it.
Uh-huh.
It's probably not gonna happen though, because he
Yeah,
knows
probably
that.
not.
It's probably not gonna happen.
I mean, it's your mind kind of controlling it, but at the same
Yeah.
time, there's this
I feel like he's just
guy.
a manifestation of like everything that I hate. I hate him so much. I hate him. Because like this one time I was having this really cool dream where I was on this bus.
Yeah.
And we were just like a bunch of like regular people on a bus. And we go through this tunnel
Uh-huh.
and it still looks like the regular world. But then we get at the bus stop and we get off and everyone's freaked. Like everyone that's like was already there is freaking out. And we're like, what's going on? And they're like, you're human. And we're like, what? Of course we're human. And they're like, we got to get the SWAT teams. We got to get the police. I was like, oh, what? They were
Okay,
freaking out because
I'm
they
not
were
gonna lie.
aliens.
I haven't been listening. I like just tuned in like for a second, and like I was so lost. I literally didn't
Dude,
understand.
okay,
it at
like
all.
yeah, I didn't understand either. We just went through a tunnel, and all of a sudden, we
You're
were in a
human.
People were freaking out that the people on the bus were human, and apparently, I guess they were all like ghosts or something. Like we were
Yeah.
somehow in the underworld, and they were ghosts, and they were freaking out because they're like, "How did you guys get here?"
It's like Coco.
And then they were like,
movie.
yeah, it was, except we'll go with like a bunch of people on a bus.
Yeah.
And then they sent the SWAT, like the ghost SWAT team out on us. It was weird. Like, so we were all booking it. We were all running.
Okay, everybody take a moment and just like picture Nick full sprint.
It's not a pretty sight. It's really not. But even though it was a dream, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use any powers this time because I just want to see what happens. I know that's a weird. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to be OP today. I don't want to be OP. You know, like
I just want to be another face in the crowd.
I just want to be Nick.
Nick.
But that never works out. Every time I choose not to use my powers, I end up getting like totally screwed.
Dominated by
Mm-hmm.
like some other force.
Like, okay, it's like the SWAT team caught up to me. So I was like, nope. And they disappeared.
Nope.
I was like, no, this isn't going to work for me.
That's not how that
I wanna
story's gonna
see
go,
how-
man.
That's not how this is going to go. This is my time. Okay? So it's weird. I can like make people disappear too, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I know this is going to sound really evil, but one time I saw a mom and a kid and I just made the kid disappear. And I know that sounds so terrible. That sounds so bad now that I said it out loud. I've never told anyone that.
On that note, I'm gonna have to leave because
I felt so bad after too, but I couldn't get him back. Whenever I disappear someone, they never show up in my dream again.
oh snap.
And I felt so bad.
Okay, so how do you feel about like I've heard that every person that's in your dream, you've seen them in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So like how does that like make you feel?
I disappeared some random person.
Yeah.
Like I felt bad. I was like, I hope I never actually know them in real life because I just like destroyed them in my dream. I was like, it's like the Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like the Infinity War dust.
Yeah.
Like I just do that. I don't snap my fingers. I just look at them and just like kind of wave my hand, and they're gone forever.
It's like a simple goodbye. And they're
like,
like, no, don't take me now.
No, I had so many plans in this
Sorry,
dream. Sorry, kiddo. It doesn't always work out. Poof.
They're gone.
Now I feel really bad. I never like said that out loud, but now that I said it out loud, I feel like a total jerk for that. And I know that you've had some like sleep paralysis that you've talked about.
Yeah. No, yeah, I have pretty bad sleep paralysis. Ever since like the age of like 8 years old, I can remember like stuff that would happen. And I mean, for those people that don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's basically where you're in a state of paralysis, except it's like your eyes are awake, but the rest of your body and your like mind is asleep still. So whenever you're dreaming, you basically see that stuff in your mind with your eyes closed. Well, whenever you have sleep paralysis, it's like the dreams jump out of your mind and into like reality kind of. Except, it's not exactly reality because your mind is still asleep. Mm-hmm. But your eyes are open. And so you try to move and stuff like that, but your body's asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not really I can't really think of a better way to explain it. That's like all I got right now. But anyways, so one of the occurrences that would happen a lot whenever this was more whenever I was younger. They started escalating like on the intensity level as I got older, but whenever I was really young, I would have a lot of dreams where okay, so I have like this window in the corner of my room,
Mm-hmm.
and the sun shines through it like whenever I wake up. And I don't really have curtains on that window, like I keep them open so I can like kind of see the sunlight coming through. It kind of wakes me up in the morning. And so the sun is shining through, and I don't know, like okay, so the best way that I could explain it is whenever you start, like the way that I know that I'm getting sleep paralysis is because like you feel pure fear. Like if there's any way that you describe fear, it's that, but like with the intensity level of like a 10 out of 10. And so my heart like starts pounding really hard, and then I can feel it in my head, like my head starts pulsing, and it just like makes this very loud like beating drum noise, and it just echoes throughout my head, and it gets to the point where I think my head is gonna like explode, and then that's whenever something happens. So this is in like the span of like maybe like I don't know, like 30 minutes, but it feels like it's been hours that I'm going through this. And so, my head starts to feel like it's going to explode, and then something happens. And what would happen whenever I was like a little kid, um, I would see hands outside my window, but like the silhouette of hands. Like they weren't actually in my room. It's just like from the outside of the window, I would see like people like pressing up against my window and like kind of like trying to look in, I guess you could say. And that's like one of my biggest fears, like burglars, I guess you could say. Burglars and stuff like that has always been like my biggest fear. And I'm going to go a little bit off track like right now, but I also used to have like this very like scary occurring dream where it would basically be like the purge. And if you don't know what the purge is, it's basically where, all crime is like legal for like 24 hours. So like people go like kill and like steal and everything like that. And for some reason, all the people that are trying to like commit murder and stuff like that, they target my house.
Your house out of all the
My house.
houses.
Out of like my house isn't even that cool. I don't know why they're trying to like get in. And so anyways, me and my dad basically have to like fight them off. And I mean, me and my dad are some pretty, muscular dudes,
Yeah.
I guess you could say. But yeah, no, they always get us. In the end they always get us. And but like I laugh about it now, but like whenever it's happening, it's the scariest thing because I wake up and I'm like, that didn't happen. And
Mhm.
your heart's still beating like really fast. You're like sweating from like all the intensity in the dream. And but anyways, back to the sleep paralysis. Um, I've had one of my latest occurrences of an episode was basically I remember talking to you about it in the morning. I was like, "Hey, I'm if I seem out of it, it's because I had sleep paralysis last night." And I don't know, it always happens to me where it happens at the worst moments. So like I'll have like really bad like depression like a week ago, and then like
Mhm.
it catches up with like a sleep paralysis dream. And then so I kind of like stay distant from everybody.
I could tell because
Yeah.
before you told me about it, I could tell like you were like you weren't not like weird, but like you were kind of being hostile in the
Yeah.
morning. I could
Yeah.
tell like there was something up that happened.
Yeah. And yeah, that's why I told you because I was like, yeah, no, I could tell that I'm being a little bit weird.
But I mean,
Like,
I understood. You're just
yeah.
like kind of like you were kind of like isolating yourself,
Yeah.
and you were kind of like ending every conversation just because you were like so out of it.
Yeah. And whenever it happens, I feel like I don't get any sleep. Probably because it like stresses me out so much. Like I could get it like a full like 10 hours of sleep, but if that happens in like the last hour, then like there's so much stress that goes into it that I just don't feel like I got any sleep. So I usually like fall asleep in class or something like that. And anyway, so like this last occurrence, what basically happened is, I've heard, I've like done my research, I guess, on sleep paralysis, and I've heard of like occurrences where like the people actually feel like this humanoid figure like touching them and like crawling up on them and stuff like that. But this was like the actual first occurrence that I actually felt something, like where this demon or whatever you call it, like it touched me, and I got so freaked out. So it was a normal night, nothing like bad or like no reason for a sleep paralysis to happen. Like it was out of nowhere. And so I go to sleep thinking nothing of it, and I fall asleep on my back. And like whenever I did do my research, I heard that it wasn't like it usually happens whenever you're asleep on your back. And so I woke up like kind of in the middle of the night, and I turned over on my stomach, and I feel like it was a little bit too late because this happened around like 12 a.m. maybe. And it's weird because, it doesn't really happen during like 3 a.m. or like the devil's hour or whatever you call it. Like it doesn't happen during that. It happens at like the most random moments. So like sometimes it would happen at like 6 a.m. or sometimes it will happen at like, 12 or, throughout the night. Anyway, so it was like pitch black dark in my room, and I had just turned over onto my stomach, and all of a sudden, like just fear. Like I said, if there's any way to describe it, it's that times 10. And it's just like pulsing throughout my whole body, and I can't move. Like my body just stiffens and I can't do anything about it. And like I'm breathing really heavy. Like I don't know if you could tell that you were breathing really heavy, but like whenever I woke up, I was out of breath. So like I feel like I was breathing really heavy. And so there's not really like I didn't see this figure because I was face down into like my pillow. But what I felt was right whenever I thought that my head was going to explode from like the pulsing in my head, three fingers just like dig into the back of like my scalp or like my skull, and then like they push me into my pillow, and then I wake up and I can move again.
That would freak me out.
Yeah,
That would
it's
freak
it's
me
terrible.
out.
And like you wake up being like, is the thing that just hit me in the back of the head still here? That's the scary
Yeah.
part about it. Like it's not even like as scary in the moment because like all you feel is fear. But like the fear afterwards of thinking like, is what just happened to me real? That's the part that freaks me out. And that's the part that makes me like kind of hostile and standoffish to everybody around me, because it's like, what if that thing was actually in my room, you know? But I mean, I kind of realized that it's like all in my mind and stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good place to
Yeah.
wrap it up. So, yeah, this was our third episode of our podcast, The Dominic Show. I guess that's what we could call it now. So, yeah, make sure to,
Comment, like, and subscribe.
and I don't know, if you want to turn on those notifications. I don't really know what that means. I hear other people say it, so I
It's like
said
the
it.
bell, dude.
Oh, oh, for sure. Okay.
For sure.
So thank you for watching. We'll see y'all next week.
See ya.